hello again everybody. Gwendolyn and I are off on another little adventure. And it's good to be back on the road again. It's been a long time, or it feels like it. This time I'm first of all going to a place called Pangbourne, where I've been before, because that's the area, or the nearest little town to where both my daughters live. I'm going to make a quick call into each of them, and then I'm going on to two little towns which I knew well in my younger days. One of them's called Marlow, very, very pretty little town, horribly expensive to live there. And the other one is even worse, Henley on Thames. But they're both nice places, and they're very closely associated with my younger days. Not because I was rich, but because of work. Now I've just got the 100-mile or so motorway drive to do. And with diesel at 176 pence a litre, which is what I paid for it, I shan't be driving fast. No foot to the floor today. Well, that's the area I'm headed to, and those are the two places that are involved, Henley and Marlow. I've just come through a really nasty hailstorm, and I've stopped at Lee Delamar Services, and there's a van there, and I don't know whether you can see the amount of smoke going round it, but it's a bloke vaping. I've never seen so much smoke come off a vape. Well, we're nearly at my wild camping spot for tonight. Not far to go now, about 11 minutes, 4.5 miles, and we're passing through a little village called Wargrave, which is on alongside the River Thames. Very nice little place. There we have the Flower Pot Hotel, who apparently do bar meals. And it's just a couple of 100 yards from where we're going to spend the night. This looks like the door for the saloon and public bar. It is actually, because I've been in before and I got myself a drink, and it's really interesting. Lovely fire behind that. Oh, look at that fire. Interesting selection of beers. Plenty of examples of fish. There really is a nice looking pub. Or they call it the hotel. And it has a large beer garden. Very large. And they obviously get very busy. They also have a good looking specials board there as well. Well, there's the meal to go with my half pint. It looks really good. Well, that was a very nice meal, and apparently the building dates back 400 to 500 years. It used to be an old coaching house. I'm parked up there for the night, and the lady at that car there is going to go swimming in the river. That's my view for the night. Nice little landing stage there with a sign on it for the pub where I've just had a meal. I'm in the warm, but there's that lady coming back. I know, she's been gone maybe 20 minutes. And she told me the water temperature was just over 10 degrees centigrade. Right, well, it's just coming up to 9 o'clock in the evening, and this is the view that I have through the window, looking across the river to how the other half live. The next day, the night had been cold, and the morning there's some mist laying on top of the water. It was 6:30 in the morning. The wildlife were active, and there were two chaps just about to go paddleboarding. It's just 7:30, so in the morning, so it's very quiet, and it was a good job I came here because I parked over there for an hour. And this is Marlow High Street, but the main reason for coming here is just down the corner here, and it is the bridge at Bisham. Marlow is certainly a really nice town, a beautiful church there, and across here a very nice park area, and down there is the bridge that I was talking about. In the mid-1960s, that's about 55 years ago, the company I was working for got the contract to take this bridge completely to pieces and rebuild it. And the bridge, which is, as you can see, a suspension bridge, crosses the River Thames at Marlow. And the reason it had to be rebuilt was because of these links here. And the story, as I was told at the time, was because before the First World War, one of the council workers had a task to do on a regular basis, which was to grease the links. But he was called up and went to war, and unfortunately he was one of the many that didn't come back. And after the war, the council sort of forgot that they needed somebody to go and grease them. And then in the early 1960s, a man who used to cross the bridge in his Rolls Royce every day felt there was a bit of a bump that he hadn't noticed before. So he reported it to the council. The council sent somebody out, a surveyor, and they closed the bridge immediately. And then the task came to find somebody to rebuild it when the company I was working for won the contract. And the first thing they had to do was build a temporary bridge over the top of this one here, so that people could still use it, because this was the main road from Maidenhead and on to London, so it was busy with commuters. And then the towers were all taken to pieces. Every stone was numbered. They were all numbered, and then the new links were made and the towers rebuilt. The funny part about it was that the man who reported it had a Rolls Royce, and when they built the temporary bridge, he was over the weight limit for it, so he had to find a longer way round. And I see that there's a weight limit back on it again now, 3 tons. And because Gwendolyn is 3.5 tons, I wasn't able to do what I was hoping to, and that was drive across the bridge. And there's the plaque telling you it's Marlow Suspension Bridge, and it was opened in 1832. I'm doing the drive now from Marlow to Henley on Thames, and for those of you who watch the TV series Midsummer Murders, we're right on the edge of the area where a lot of that is filmed, or was filmed. And there's some lovely, beautiful little villages down here, lovely areas. I'm taking a little detour, and we're approaching the village of Hambledon, and it has been used numerous times for films, including Midsummer Murders. I knew somebody who lived here, and they were often paid by film companies to take their television aerials off for them to film. And I think I've just missed a turning. Never mind. Find another way. Well, I don't know, is that a dead end road or what? Oh. Well, not in here. No, it's not dead end. This is the centre of the village of Hambledon. It's very, very pretty. Shame about all the cars. I think I might have to come back and do a tour of Midsummer Murder area. So Gwendolyn and I have arrived in Henley on Thames, and I've stopped here at this park area, which is also the long-term car park. It's still expensive though. 2 hours £3.50, 10 hours £9. Oh, I suppose it's not too bad for the area, but let's take a walk into the town now and have a look at the bridge and the rowing place. Of course, being Henley, it has to have a posh, crazy golf course as well. Now we take the riverside walk, and there's somebody doing what Henley is famous for: rowing. There certainly are some nice looking houses along here. Hobbs and Henley, they've been around for years and years. That boat there is about the same size as the one we hired on the Broads last year, on the Norfolk Broads. 8 hours on the Norfolk Broads, just over £100. That boat on the Thames, £75 an hour. And I hate to think what it costs to moor your boat along this bit. And then behind it is the bridge, and it's a lovely bridge. Gentle curve and beautifully proportioned arches. It really is lovely. And believe it or not, that bridge was built in 1786. And on the Oxfordshire side of the bridge, there is a pub called The Angel. On the Berkshire side of the bridge, there's a pub called The Little Angel. Now, the company I worked for in the 60s had a subsidiary, and one of the contracts they regularly got were putting in the temporary piles either side of the river to make the racecourse for the rowing regatta. And these timbers that you can see here, over there, they're the ones that separate the side of the course. And there's a lot of stuff being got ready, I suppose, because the preparation time is quite extensive. And over there, there's a very exclusive club called Phyllis Court. And anybody who's anybody around here is a member. And my boss was a member. And I was invited for finals day on the regatta. My wife and I, it cost me a month's salary just to buy the clothes to dress up for it. Ridiculous. And those properties over there must be worth a fortune. That building is the Henley Rowing Clubhouse, and of course they host the International Regatta. Oh, the Saturday market's opening up. Might get busy later on, I suspect. On the other end of the market is the town hall.
I think so.
There's the side of the town hall, and just up that road there, and just round the corner, is where George Harrison used to live. And for those too young to remember, that's George Harrison of the Beatles. This is the graveyard behind the church, A lot of famous people, well-known people have lived, and still do, some of them, in Henley. And there is the grave of Dudley Springfield. Well, I'm really sorry I couldn't show you more of the two towns, but to be truthful, my legs were giving out as it was, and I just couldn't walk anymore. So I hope you've enjoyed the little bit that you've seen. And when I left Henley, I decided to go to Swindon and have a look at the Steam Museum there. So I shall be putting that in a separate video, because not everybody likes trains. I do, and I know some of you do too. So I hope you'll enjoy that one as well. But for now, thanks for watching. Bye bye.